You can tell me about Memphis.
From the boardroom to the streets.
I don't already know.
With Mike from Memphis, man. Together, we can fix things. Really?
When you say, I want to be treated fairly, and I want a voice.
Yeah. He saw
voice.
things weren't fair, so he chose to run for mayor. You get up and do something when you really care. It's Memphis 360.
I'm with you. In the meantime,
It's Memphis 360.
in the meantime, in between time, we talk about the youth. We talk about giving them the ability. We talk about investing in young people and investing in the community. See, I hate ignorance. I hate when people make decisions about things and they make statements and they haven't done their research.
How can you fix the problem when you don't even know what the problem is?
We need some help in this city.
It's Memphis 360.
See, I hate ignorance.
It's Memphis 360. Man.
And good evening. I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Memphis 360, the television show that we said we'd like to go from the boardroom to the streets. And as you can very well know, there is a lot going on here in the streets of the city of Memphis. I have two subjects that I want to talk about tonight, but before I get into those subjects, I just want to send my condolences to Tyre Hunt, who was a police officer on the City of Memphis Police Department. He lost his father here recently. He succumbed, I think his father was 81 years old, and he succumbed to an illness. So those of you that are out there that know Tyre Hunt, please keep him and his family in your prayers, because, you know, nobody wants to lose a father. Nobody wants to lose anybody. What's going on, Faye Boys? What's going on, Raphael V. Jackson? I want to talk about two things tonight, and I'm probably not going to be here for a very long time, but I would also like to hear your opinions on things that are occurring here in the city of Memphis. You know, in everybody's life, it just appears that there is so much going on right now. I don't know if you guys are feeling it, but you know, there are so many things going on. I don't know if it's because of the availability of information or because of just what's happening in our lives on a day-to-day basis. But there's so much going on to whereas, you know, sometimes even I am starting to feel overwhelmed. Am I the only person that's starting to feel like that? That it's so much going on in my life or so much going on here in the city of Memphis? There's so much going on the news. There's so many things happening that it's like, Jesus Christ, is this ever going to slow down? If this ever going to get better here in the city of Memphis? Am I the only one that feels like that? If I am not the only one, say, no, you are not the only one, Michael, that feels like there is so much going on here in the city of Memphis. And I don't know if anybody is able to control what's going on here in the city of Memphis, or if there's anybody that has the ability to control what's going on here in the city of Memphis. But I also feel as though there are not a lot of individuals that are in place that are doing the right things to prevent some of the things that are going on here in the city of Memphis. As a matter of fact, I'm of the opinion that there are a lot of individuals that are putting obstacles in place that prevent us from having a safe city. But that's just Mike Williams, citizen, and his opinion. Now that segues me into the first thing that I want to talk about. And I want to talk about this ordinance that the City of Memphis Council just voted into effect. They changed the name of the ordinance to the Tyre Nichols Driving Equality Act. The Tyre Nichols Driving Equality Act. And the crazy part about that is and don't get me wrong, what happened to Mr. Tyre Nichols, I don't want to diminish the the effects of what happened to Mr. Tyre Nichols, because what should have happened to him should have never happened. You're going to always hear me say that. Individuals, if they did something wrong, they should be held accountable and account for what happened to Mr. Tyre Nichols. But sometimes I think we overreach, and sometimes I think we go too far. And I think sometimes we allow incidences that happen, especially because of the information flow and because of things that are going on. What's up, Antoine? Leroy, what's going on, Mr. Jones? Because of things that are happening, we allow that to influence, or our elected officials allow those specific incidences to affect how they deal with implementing laws and putting things in place that are going to have overreaching consequences for the citizens of the city. Now, they voted to enact the Tyre Nichols Driving Equality Act. Now, I'm trying to figure out, we got individuals that are stealing cars all over the place. We are having unprecedented numbers of cars that are being stolen. We have individuals, I don't know if you hear me, a rocket launcher. I mean, we got to the point in this city, you got people running around with rocket launchers, hanging out of cars while they're out here doing donuts in parking lots and in the middle of the street. Then somebody else sent me another video to whereas they were, it was about, they had shut down this intersection, and you had cars that are just spinning and spinning and spinning. These guys are hanging out of cars, traffic, driving. Hello, somebody, am I the only one getting this? Driving. These guys are hanging out of cars with assault rifles. Am I crazy or what? Is it me? But we're implementing more laws to whereas you don't want the police to stop people. They call it the pretextual traffic stops. So they don't want you to do pretextual traffic stops anymore. And as a former police officer, I know that doing pretextual police stops, because, okay, there may be some of you that don't know, my daughter was involved in an accident about 3 weeks ago. Individual, I don't know what happened to him, but he came over on the other side and hit her head on, tore up her car, no insurance, didn't have insurance. She's presented with a $25,000 bill from Regional 1. She got to get a bill for the ambulance transport. She got to get a bill because they initially transported her to Methodist St. Francis, Bartlett St. Francis, yeah. So she's left with all of these bills. The good dude didn't have insurance. We got people out here running around with no insurance. Now, we got people running around with all of these guns and cars because we see them on videos all over the place. They are hanging out of windows with assault rifles. We see people hanging out of cars with rocket launchers. But you don't want the police to stop cars. Are you crazy? Because you got 50, 40 people, I'll even give you 100 people, that come down to city council. They're sitting there with signs that say F you. They're sitting there with signs that say police are bad. They're sitting there with signs that say justice for Tyre. And I get it. We need to deal with the incident that happened to Mr. Tyre Nichols, but at the same time, what about the other 650 some thousand citizens that live in this city, function in this city on a daily basis? What about those people? What about those people that cars are being ran into? What about those people that cars are being broken into? What about those people that houses are being burglarized? What about those people that are being robbed on a daily basis? What about those people? So we want to deal with this Tyre Nichols Driving Equality Act. And let me tell you, what's going to happen is you're going to have the police that aren't going to be able to do anything. And then you're going to have citizens that are going to say, why aren't the police doing anything? Or why won't the police respond to that? Well, they're not able to respond to a lot of things because you're putting roadblocks in place that prohibits the police from doing their job. And then none of those police officers are going to want to be the next headline story so that now other individuals can run down there to the city council. And don't get me wrong, everybody has the ability to exercise their First Amendment rights. You have the ability to go to your city council person. You have the ability to voice your opinion. And I'm not trying to take that away from anybody because I fought for that. But I'm saying that sometimes stupidity has to stop. Accountability has to be made. Responsibility for actions that are taken need to be placed upon those individuals that are committing those acts. Well, they talk about these pretextual stops. Pretextual traffic stops, like the one that led to the brutal murder of Tyre Nichols, are most common point of contact for police to harass black and brown people. Well, first of all, I heard that, but let me tell you this. The city of Memphis is comprised of 65 to 70% African American. So that's black people. And we haven't even gotten to the Hispanics yet. That's the brown people. So there's going to be a lot of contact, number one. Number two, if your bumper ain't hanging off, if your light is not out, if you got insurance on your car, if you're driving the way you're supposed to be driving, because driving kills. We got individuals, last year I think we had one of the highest number of pedestrians that were being struck by cars here in the city of Memphis. That's because people are driving recklessly. Am I the only one that drive around the city of Memphis and I see all of these telephone poles knocked over? Then half of them got little flowers on them that's becoming a memorial for somebody that was killed. But we have a city council that says we're going to implement the Tyre Nichols Driving Equality Act. So because I pay my insurance every day, because I do maintenance on my car, because I try to keep my car up operational so that it would be utilized for me to get to work so that I can do my job on a daily basis. You're telling me that you don't want other people. We got rid of inspections that tried to ensure that individuals' cars were operational, or operational to the degree that they were competent enough that they had brakes and that they had this and that they had that. We done went so far to say we don't want you stopping cars if in fact they have tail lights out. We don't want you stopping cars if in fact brake lights are out, or bumpers are hanging off the cars, or the cars are falling apart, different things like that. And it says, essentially, it is best, this is what Mr. J.B. Smiley said. Essentially, it is the best of both worlds. Well, whose world are you talking about, Mr. Smiley? Are allowed to create change, but also allow the law enforcement to do their jobs. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So what you just did, or what you just said, that allows police to do their job? No, what it does is allows individuals to run rampant out here. What it does is embolden individuals to be able to ride around in these cars that are halfway put together, that don't have insurance, that you don't want us to stop, you don't want the police to stop cars. But guess what? Yes. A lot of these individuals that are breaking the law are getting exactly what they want. I'm tired of all of this crying and, oh, Lord Jesus, why the police messing with us? The police ain't messing with me. And it's not because I'm an ex-police officer. When I'm driving my car, they don't know I'm a police officer. It's because my tags are good, my registration is good. You don't want you don't want the police stopping individuals because their registrations are out. And don't get me wrong, I understand if you put something in place that says that once the police ascertain that the individual had a registration but it has not been updated, and you give them 60 days to actually update their tags. But to say that you don't want them to stop cars, to me, that is crazy. But at the same time, you say you want them to enforce the laws. Well, guess what? Just because you implement an ordinance here in the city of Memphis, it does not stop the sheriff department. It does not stop the police, the Bartlett police or Germantown police or Millington police, Lakeland, Arlington. It don't stop the sheriffs and police officers in those areas. We just want to handcuff the police officers in the city that is considered possibly now the most violent city in the nation. We are running ahead on homicides right now. We have over 110 homicides already in the first quarter. 110 homicides in the first quarter. We got young people, 11, 12, 13 years old, out here running around with guns. But you're still putting things in place that handcuff the police. Now, I don't want anybody to think that just because I was a police officer that I'm on this save the police deal. That's not what I'm saying. I told you I am okay with police reform. I'm just not okay with stupidity. I'm just not okay with putting citizens' lives at risk. I'm not okay with allowing individuals that are breaking the law, giving them even more of an ability to break the law. I'm not with that. I think Mr. J.B. Smiley needs to go ride with the police. I think Mr. J.B. Smiley needs to see it from the police perspective, because all of these people are making all of these decisions, but they don't have a clue. I'm saying even as a citizen, as we are running around or traversing throughout the city of Memphis, we see so many things that are happening. We see so many violations. We see, and especially with driving. And that's the crazy part, with driving. So now we're going to say, us, the city of Memphis, with all of this violence going on here, with all of these gun crimes going on here, we're going to say, hold up. We don't want you to stop suspicious cars. We don't want you to stop cars. We got the Kias being stolen. We got the Infinities being stolen. We got all of these cars being stolen, but we don't want you stopping cars. We don't want you stopping them. Leave them alone. You know they're stealing cars to go out and commit other crimes, right? Like robberies, burglaries, to steal other cars. I'm not getting this. Hey, the number to call is 244-6874, 901-244-6874. I'd like to know how you feel about all of these reforms that are being put in place in the name of Mr. Tyre Nichols. See, we have some people that are opportunists. We have some people that are looking for fame and want to get in front of the camera. But what is the end goal? What is the end state? What are you looking for? What at the end of the day, what is it that you want? You know, and I even asked the activists this question, and y'all can get on my page. My page is wide open. What is the end state that you want? You want to do away with the police? With all of the crime we got going on in this city, do you want to do away with the police? Because in essence, that's what you're doing. And it's being allowed. And you have citizens that are living in fear. And homicides are increasing. Car thefts are increasing. Car burglaries are increasing. And we're even seeing now individuals that are actually breaking into cars. You got 5, 6, 7 dudes that post up, and all of them got guns. or they're approaching individuals, and all of them have guns, and they're taking what they want. You know why? Because they have no fear. They have no fear of the police. But Michael, why should they be afraid of the police? They need to be afraid of somebody. Evidently, they're not afraid of their mothers. They're not afraid of their fathers. They need to be afraid of somebody, and I don't care what you say. There are other contributing factors, and there are other things that need to be addressed and taken care of. No, I just passed the fairgrounds. They got a big old hole over there. They building something else at the fairgrounds. See, while y'all concentrated and focused on all of this other stuff, they're using your money to do other things, those things that they want to do. That's what they're doing. While y'all out here killing each other, they spending your money on the things that they want. Well, Michael, who is they? I'm not talking about white people. I'm not talking about black people. I'm not talking about brown people. I'm talking about those individuals that are money hungry, and they're using your money to accomplish the things that they want to accomplish, as opposed to the things that are going to provide you with the quality core services, the things that are going to allow you to be able to live in a safe environment, the things that are going to allow you the ability to climb the economic ladder. You know, it's like, keep them down, let them kill each other. Yeah, let's put stuff, and then you got black folks that buy into this madness. Black people. And no offense to my Caucasian brethren, but I say black people because you don't hear about Caucasians being killed. You might hear about them getting their car taken. You might hear about them getting their business broken into. But when you talk about the violent crimes that are occurring in this city, it's occurring mostly to us, our sons and daughters, our nieces and nephews, our grandkids and great-grandkids. But they're also the ones that are committing the crimes. Ours. But we got city council people up there who emboldens and enables them to continue down this path. We're going down a path of destruction, people. Am I the only one that feel this? Am I the only one that see this? Is it because I'm a police officer, former police officer, that I feel this way? Is it because I'm former military that I feel this way? Do you guys not feel this way? Help me. What's the, help me to help you to help me to help you. So do we think, are we doing things because we think it's a good thing to do? We're going to do the Tyre Nichols Driving Equality Act because what? Mr. Tyre Nichols was killed. And listen, I get that. Mr. Tyre Nichols should have never died. Mr. That ever happened after Mr. Tyre Nichols. Now, we need to deal with that Mr. Tyre Nichols incident. But we got so much other stuff going on in this city that everything cannot be predicated on what happened to Mr. Nichols. Because guess what? We got black men dying out here every day. We got black women dying out here every day. We got black children dying out here every day. We don't have no ordinance in their name. But only because it happened by this set of police officers that we take it to this degree. Hell, Privé, we got 7 shot, 2 dead. Same night in Whitehaven, 4 shot, 5 shot, 1 or 2 dead. On a daily basis, we're having people die in this city, and it's all over the news, and nothing is done. We don't make laws. Matter of fact, you got the governor up there in Nashville saying, you know what, we need to give these individuals more ability to do guns, to have guns. We need to drop the age to 18 to have guns. And that segues into my next topic. Justin Pearson, Justin Jones, Gloria Johnson, the Tennessee Three. I am even a little conflicted about this one, y'all. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. You know, I really had to kind of hesitate to even discuss this. I was conflicted. And I'm going to tell you why I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted because we have individuals that Mr. Justin Pearson was voted here in the city of Memphis to go to the House of Representatives in Nashville to represent the constituency that he represents in this city. You had Mr. Justin Jones, who was elected out of the city of Nashville to represent the constituency that he represents at Nashville. You got Ms. Gloria Johnson, who is out of Knoxville. She's a representative out of the city of Knoxville. So there's a protest up there in Nashville. Mr. Pearson had only been sworn in for approximately 2 weeks. And he joined the people because evidently he had been trying to talk about it on the floor of the House of Representatives, and he wasn't allowed to in the manner that he wanted. So he joined the protesters, I'm hearing, in the rotunda or the atrium or whatever you want to call it, and he's expelled. He's expelled. Mr. Justin Jones out of Nashville is expelled, and Miss Gloria Johnson, who was out of Knoxville, was not expelled, even though she joined in on the protest as well. Now, Mr. Justin Pearson and Mr. Justin Jones are African American. Miss Gloria Johnson is Caucasian. This brought international attention to the legislature up there in Nashville. Now, I'm going to tell you why I am a little conflicted. I'm conflicted for a couple of reasons. I'm conflicted because you have an individual that was elected to the House of Representatives, had only been there 2 weeks, and brought national attention to the possible disparities that are going on up in the Nashville legislature. But at the same token, you have a supermajority of Republicans up in Nashville. Now, because you have a supermajority of Republicans in Nashville, you know, and you said what you want to say, but this is what I like about it. Even though the Caucasian lady acted a fool with them, they spared her. So this brought national attention from, well, actually international attention from across the world. Okay. This is Memphis 360. Go ahead, caller.
Because the Chicago DNC is going to be in an urban city. Mm-hmm. Justin and Justin need to tell young men to go out and vote. You know why?
Why?
You know why Harrington and A.C. Wharton get a lot of money for West Tennessee?
Why?
It was just like Justin and Justin Jones and Justin Pearson. Mm-hmm. Because they had a Democratic governor. Mm. When you're speaking about all them guns in Memphis, and you're a policeman.
Yeah.
You don't want a police state. When you keep hearing all this like a war zone,
yeah,
he's probably going to nationalize the National Guard because they're not going to let people get roam through the street like that. They'll saturate the gun, let you annihilate each other. They ain't gonna bring the National Guard here because I'm in Baltimore. I saw some artillery coming through the city one while, and they don't play. So that's why I said you're a military man.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have law. You can't have disorder. You got to have decorum in the city.
Right.
And I'm telling them too, like they ought to learn from Dr. Harrington and A.C. Warren that you got to go out and go and get you a Democratic governor and lead dictator Lee. Because you say the Republican, they got 75 to your 25. I mean, you outnumbered.
Right.
You got to get people to start voting.
Right. Right.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Thank
Right.
you, man.
Yeah, that was Mr. Alan Hadley from Baltimore. The number to call is 901-244-6874, 901-244-6874, and we are live right now. So please, if you feel a certain way about this, I would love for you to call in. I would love for you to talk about it. I would love to have your input. Now, what I was saying was they're getting international attention because of this. Now, the question to me, and I say I'm conflicted because the question to me is, we've had all of these other legislators up there for all of these years, and nothing has happened. They haven't gotten this much attention about disparity or anything that's going on. Why do you think that is? Why do you think we've had individuals that have been up there for 20, 30 years and we have not had this type of attention drawn to the disparity that's going on up there in the Nashville legislature, the blatant, we're going to do what we want to do kind of thing up there in the Nashville legislature? Why do you think that is? Do you think that's because Mr. Justin Pearson them went up there like this, Black Power, power to the people, dashikis, all of that kind of stuff? So, and believe me, I understand that there has to be a sense, or there is a sense of decorum. So, no, you can't wear dashikis on the floor of the House of Representatives in Nashville. You have to be suited and booted. That's what they expect you to be, suited and booted. So why I'm conflicted is this. I definitely understand that you have to work within the constraints of the rules and regulations that are set forth. You have to learn the rules and the regulations that are put in place. Regardless of what happens, you cannot affect change, because if I am sending you there to make change, you have to, because even at the end of the day, we done got, the county commission on yesterday voted to send Mr. Pearson back up to Nashville. But my question is this. So now you go back to Nashville. How can you affect change, or what can you do now that you have possibly alienated the whole Republican Party up there? Because guess what? You can't change law or affect law unless you work across the aisle and have other individuals that are going to help you to vote for some of the things that you're trying to get accomplished. So my question is, what is the end game for Mr. Pearson? What is the end game for Mr. Jones? What is the end game for Ms. Johnson when it comes to implementing law? Because you have a supermajority up there. You have a majority Republican House of Representatives. You have a majority Republican State Senate. You can't get nothing done up there unless you got people that are working with you and working across the aisle to accomplish some of the things that you're trying to accomplish that are going to be beneficial here to the city of Memphis. I'm going to tell you that I like the energy that these young people have. I do. Because, see, they're warriors and they want to go out and fight. I watched the meeting. I don't think Brittany Thornton or Commissioner Thornton was present. I think she's out of the country right now. So it would have been 8. So it would have been all of the 8 Democratic representatives on the county commission. But the Republicans didn't participate. That's right here in Shelby County, right here in the city of Memphis. So if they're not going to participate, and they're right here in Shelby County, what effect or what do you think Mr. Johnson or Mr. Pearson is going to be able to accomplish going back up to Nashville? That's just a question. How do you feel about that? The number to call is 901-244-6874, 901-244-6874. And then I wonder how a lot of the older Democrats that have been up there for years, that have been working, how do they feel about that? So I know we had a bus leave here this morning. I saw a newsreel where they were up there in the rotunda chanting again. I did see that Mr. Pearson had been sworn in again. And we're going to have to see where this goes. I think that was overreach by the majority in the House of Representatives up there in Nashville. I don't know if they knew that it was going to draw national attention in what they did. But I will tell you this, me knowing how the Republican Party acts and react, if those young men and Miss Johnson should happen to operate, will expel them again. But like I say, what is the end game? How are we going to get something accomplished? How are we going to get the things we need for the city of Memphis? I think they're smart young men. Mr. Justin Jones is very articulate, very smart. I'm sure Justin Pearson is very smart. He's also very articulate. But they're going to have to learn how to operate within the system that is put in place. And some people are going to say, oh, that system ain't designed for us. It ain't designed for black people. And it may not be. Because a lot of the things, you got to remember, Tennessee was the home of the Confederacy. You got to remember that Tennessee is the home of, or the home where the Ku Klux Klan came out of. I mean, all of that. You have, it's history. You can't forget it. You got to remember it. That's what happened. But you also have to remember that there are a lot of smart people, you know, and I Obama, because African Americans only make up about 13 to 16% of the population here in the United States. But that's every African American. That's not the voting African Americans. You know, we find ourselves in a pickle, man. We find ourselves with a lot of things going on. Sometimes I think we're concentrating on the wrong things. There was even a possible threat made that if, in fact, we do not, you know, they were saying that if we sent Mr. Pearson back up there, that they were possibly going to hold back funds from the city of Memphis. Now, if in fact they do things like that, what's up, Michael Harris? If they do things like that, that's wrong. They should not do that. But see, once again, Mr. Jones, Mr. Pearson, and Ms. Johnson, the Tennessee Three, are making the world take a closer look at what's going on in the Nashville legislature and how they are wielding power in the Nashville legislature. There are senators that are asking for a Department of Justice investigation now into the conduct of the Tennessee House of Representatives to see if, in fact, they are conducting their business within the scope of the laws that are put down, or are they violating individual civil rights? Are they violating allowing individuals that have elected representatives to go up there to be able to represent them, and they are stifling the voice of, I think it's 70-some thousand people here in the city of Memphis, in Mr. Pearson's district? Because in effect, when they expelled him, hold on, not because he broke a law, but because he broke parliamentary procedure, they expelled him. But not only did they expel him, they left over 70,000 people in the city of Memphis or in Mr. Pearson. You know, they feel as though it's been the status quo for too long. They feel as though the Nashville legislature have been able to wield power and do the things that they want to do without any resistance. And they feel that the things that Mr. Jones, Mr. Pearson, and Ms. Johnson have done displays that resistance or that ability to be able to speak for those. Because you had those shootings that just occurred at Covenant School. Now, early in the broadcast, I talked about all of the gun violence that's going on in this city. I talked about individuals hanging out of cars with daggone rocket launchers. Individuals hanging out of cars with assault rifles as we transverse throughout the city on a daily basis, and especially on the weekends. That's putting innocent citizens' lives in danger. So Mr. Pearson, who represents over 70,000 people in his district, yes, he is up there saying, we don't want all of these guns on our street. We want some. Again, I'm still a little conflicted because I still don't know what the end game of Mr. Pearson is. I still don't know. I get it. Don't shop, boycott. Don't shop, boycott. If you're black, take it back. If you're white, mean right. I get it. 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 But let me ask you this. We live in a city that is ruled by black people. We live in a city that the city council is predominantly black. We live in a county that the county commission is predominantly black. Yet, the black community is the most impoverished community in this city. And I'm not saying that we should give away stuff and we should put things in place for quality of life so that individuals will want to work hard, so that they will do things. So, you know, when people have a vested interest in something, then they don't shoot it up and they don't kill it. They try to protect it and they try to make it better. But we got black county commissioners and black city councilmen, and we had black mayors, and we had black this and black that, but we still want to say black power. Excuse me? Okay. This younger generation, they're not the type that's going to say, excuse me. They're not the type that's going to say, feel Constitution and laws that govern the House of Representatives. So why I got to be held to that? Well, I understand why you got to be held to it, because that's the laws and rules and regulations that are put in place, and everybody has to adhere to them that come into this chamber. Now, it's going to be hard because you have Tennessee that is a predominantly red state, Republican. So when you get to Middle Tennessee, East Tennessee, it's predominantly Republican. So quite naturally, you're going to have more Republicans represented in the House legislature. Well, the House of Representatives and the House and the Senate House up there. That's just the way it is. So we're going to have individuals that are intelligent enough also, not just fighters, not just banging that drum, that have the ability to go into that house, because you can draw all the attention you want to draw. But I'm going to tell you something. Those are strong men up there that are not trying to bend and bow to anything. And as long as they operate within the scope of the laws that allow them to operate, there's nothing you can do. But we as a people, and what I mean as a people of the city of Memphis, that are over here in this southwestern corner, that's one of the largest cities in the state of Tennessee. That is one of the biggest revenue generators in the state of Tennessee. We have to have individuals that are smart enough to use that to our benefit. We got Blue Oval coming in here. We have an NBA team in the playoffs. We got University of Memphis, Beale Street, MLG&W. We got so much going on in this city that's positive. We can no longer continue to allow our city to deteriorate because of crime. We got to have somebody, and we got the mayoral election coming up. We got to have somebody who's going to take a stand. And not because they're black, or not because they're white, but because they love this city. They're going to have to be that stern parent. They're going to have to be that individual that has sound fiduciary responsibility over our money when they're putting their budgets together. They got to build the citizens into those budgets. They have to build the employees into those budgets. As opposed to all of these brick and mortar buildings that they're building, all of these facilities that they're building. And don't get me wrong, I'm saying, yes, we need facilities. Yes, we need to continue to enhance the city of Memphis. But guess what? We've been building and enhancing. They're going to be disruptive. See, you don't want to listen to us. You want to do what you want to do. But because you've done what you want to do, we find ourselves in this predicament. Michael Harris said Tennessee 3 could be the catalyst needed to bring about a change in our legislation. And I'm going to tell you, Michael, it may be the catalyst to bring a change in our legislation as far as our representatives from this region, but I don't know if it can be a Democratic governor here in the state of Tennessee. We have to get support from Middle Tennessee and West Tennessee. We cannot just elect a governor from, Middle Tennessee and East Tennessee. We cannot just elect a governor based on the constituency here in West Tennessee. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. So until something miraculously happens, guess what? We have to learn to work within the constraints of what we have. Now, I'm not saying I want because I agree with you, Michael, in that they are a catalyst. And I like the fact I always try to verbalize and vocalize mine, even if it's just on this medium right here to 5 people. But we got to get smart about what we're doing. Okay, so now they've started a catalyst. Now what? I wish some of these young people would link up with some of these older people that have knowledge, historical knowledge, that have the ability to work across the aisle, and we infuse that in what we already have up there. But you got to have individuals that are up there that are willing to be a little bit bolder, a little bit more brass, and a little bit more representative of Western Tennessee, because what we have seen over the years, and if this does not apply to you, representatives and senators that are up there in Nashville from Memphis and Shelby County, just turn your head. But for too long, we have not had individuals since the Ford's been up there, you know, and individuals like that that could bring stuff back to the city of Memphis. You know, I know we have some accomplished people up there like Miss Karen Camper, who is the minority leader in the House. So we have some people in place. But at the same token, I believe that they do have to stand up a little bit more, because if you remember what I said also in the beginning of the broadcast, we have a young man who's been up there for 2 weeks who has already brought international recognition or international spotlight to the Tennessee legislature. But it's because they expelled him. Bottom line, they expelled him. They did too much. But they did too much because he went up there first day, dashiki, second day, third day, fourth day, in the rotunda. But he's fighting for these young people like young people are fighting out here. These young people are not going to take it. All right? So I'm a little conflicted, and I'm still trying to find my way through this. I know some of you guys are conflicted, and you're trying to find your way. A lot of you won't tell me, and you haven't talked to me. You've just let me talk for an hour. But I know you're looking. I know, you know, we see all of these young people, you know, but like I said, in regards to the city council, I only see 40, 50, 70 people down there, but this city has probably about 670,000 individuals in it now. That's just a small segment of the representation of the individuals in this city. Hey, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in once again to Memphis 360. And I just want to say it's been a plum-pleasing pleasure. And until next week, same time, same location, be blessed, be strong, be encouraged, and we'll see you next week.
You're talking about a good time, children. When we all come on now.
Center Stage Gospel. Music live from Memphis, Tennessee, featuring gospel artists from around the world. Toe tapping, hand clapping, down home gospel music. Watch on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and your local Comcast. Download the SVP TV app now on your smart television and mobile device. Center Stage Gospel season premieres Sunday, 8 p.m.